several short sentences about writing by Verling Klinkeborg, and If You Want to Write by Brenda Euland are two of the most, probably the best books about writing I've ever read. I've read between 15 and 20 books about writing. These two are the best. And I found, by reading them, I found what to me is the writer's most important skill, which is not just the writer's most important skill, it's also the artist's most important skill, in my opinion. I took a photography course in 2022, and it was a private course with a professional photographer. Her name was Marta. And Marta said to me that the photographer's most important skill is not the ability to use a camera, the ability to use the tools, or the ability to use the lights and the technical stuff. The photographer's most important skill is to use his eye, because photography starts here. The first lens that you have as a photographer is not the lens of your camera, is the lens of your eye. So it's about noticing things in the world around you, and paying attention to the details, to the shadows, to the colors, to the lights, to the situation when you are in the world, when you are walking, when you're waiting for the train, when you're at a party, when you are living in the world. And this is, like, Marta taught me a few things about photography, the concepts, all the, how to use the camera as well, because I didn't know how to use a camera. But this is what stuck with me. It's that thing, noticing things in the world. Then I started becoming more interested in writing, and I found the same thing. I found the same thing in these books, and I realized that the writer's most important skill is this. It's noticing. It's noticing what goes on in your mind, inside your mind, what goes on around you, the events, interpreting the events, interpreting knowledge, interpreting, seeing connections between things that happen to you. It all starts here. So if photography starts in the eye, writing starts in the mind. Because, of course, the photographer and the writer, they both need the tools. The writer needs the grammar. The writer needs the narrative techniques. The writer needs vocabulary, using words in a certain way, sequencing events, literal devices, all storytelling devices as well. The photographer needs a camera. The photographer needs to know how to use shutter speed, to use different lenses. But these tools, we can get creative. We can get creative with the tools, with the grammar, with the words, and with the lenses. But to bring beauty to life, we need these tools. But first, how can you bring beauty to life if you don't notice it? Most importantly, how can you bring beauty to life if you don't feel that what you see, what you think, what happens to you as a writer, how can you bring beauty to life if you feel that that's not important? If you feel that what you think is not important, your opinions, your interpretation of what happens in the world, what happens to you, what happens to others, everything that goes on in your mind and in your soul as well, if you don't feel that that is important, well, who's going to believe in that? Who's going to believe in that? If you don't feel that your story is important, who's going to believe that it's important? So This is the writer's most important skill, and it's also, on a much broader level, the artist's most important skill. In the two books that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you want to write a book about art, independence, and spirit, I don't know why I haven't reviewed this yet. Brenda Ueland says this. I found this on page 22. Let me find it. Here we go. She talks about Van Gogh. She talks about the letters of Vincent van Gogh. And she says, the difference between Van Gogh and you and me is that while we may look at the sky and think it is beautiful, we don't go so far as to show someone else how it looks. This might be because we do not care enough about the sky or for other people. But most often I think it is because we have been discouraged into thinking that what we feel about the sky is not important. And this is Brenda Ueland. And then Verlin Klinkeborg, actually I've got this on my Kindle app here, I'm going to read it from the screen. He says a similar thing. He says this: most people have been taught that what they notice doesn't matter, so they never learn how to notice, not even what interests them. Or they assume that the world has been completely pre-noticed, already sifted and sorted and categorized by everyone else, by people with real authority. And so they write about pre-authorized subjects in pre-authorized language. To me, this is it's something that makes me think, okay, I can learn the techniques, I can learn anything I want. I reviewed this book in a previous video, Writing Tools, 50 Essential Strategies for Every Writer. All this is good. I mean, we need to know how to use the tools. As artists, as writers, photographers, painters, anything. We need to learn how to use the tools, the techniques, of course. If you're a musician, you need techniques. I used to play the drums. Without techniques, you cannot produce much. Even in language, I used to learn English. Without grammar and vocabulary, I cannot express myself. But I need to have something to express, right? First, I need to believe that what I want to express is important. It's got value. It's got value for others and for myself as well. Maybe you don't need, okay, you're under no obligation to publish what you write. Of course not. As a photographer, you don't need to share your photos, your art. You don't have to do it. In a way, I'm thinking, why not? I mean, it's art. Share it. And I recorded other videos where I encourage people to share their art. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to share what you produce. But if you don't notice things, well, you have no art. You have no art. So, and if you don't believe that what you notice is important, you're never going to produce anything, probably. Or what you produce doesn't really, it's there, superficial, and I don't know, maybe that is what doesn't have value. What doesn't have value is things that you feel are unimportant, and they remain unimportant. They stay unimportant. The moment you believe that what you think, what you lived, your experiences, your knowledge, your art is important, well, then you're onto something. Okay, I don't know if this makes sense. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Several short sentences about writing. Fantastic book. There's a video. I'll leave you the link in the description. It's a fantastic book. And if you want to write by Brenda Ueland, this is actually, I'm using a quote from this book to open my tiny book, the tiny book that I'm writing that I've been writing. I don't know when I'm going to publish it because it's taken me a while now, but soon I will publish it. All right, thank you so much for watching this video again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're a writer and you want to improve your writing, or you want to keep improving your writing, consider joining my private email list, Better Writers. I send one short email every week. I share tips, insights, things that I learn, book recommendations to help you do one thing only: become a better writer. The link is in the show notes or in the description of this video. Thank you for listening once again. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.